Good morning, good morning. Y'all say hello to me. Let me get situated here. Y'all say hello to me. Let me type my good morning to you. All right. Hope everybody's doing well. Hope you've had a good week this week. Let me type my good morning to you. Y'all come on in. Let me know that you can hear me clearly. All right. Hello, 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 hello. We're going to get started in just a second here. It is the day that the Lord has made. We should rejoice and be glad in it. All right, all right, all right. Hello to you. I see you, I see you. All right. Please excuse my sniffling this morning. Sinuses are acting up. Taking some medicine. I'm going to try not to get sleepy on you all, but that's kind of what Benadryl does, but I definitely needed it this morning. Thank you so much for watching and being a part of our live experience, Facebook Live. It's football game day. I'll say a little bit more about that in a little while because I want to get into this word. I hope and pray that you are doing well on your fast. Hope you're doing well on your fast. Those of you who are fasting with us, thank you so very much for being a part of our church fast. This is day 12 of our fast, and we thank God for preserving us and for keeping us. All right. I'm going to Luke 14 today. Now I'll share some announcements and stuff with you. Luke chapter 14, beginning with verse number 25. I'm going to be teaching from verse 25 to verse 35. And so keep your Bibles open as we study the Word of God together. We've been talking about discipleship and what it means to be a true disciple. The title of today's message is True Discipleship. True Discipleship, from Luke chapter 14, beginning with verse number 25. Let me read a couple of those verses to you, and then we're going to dive right into this message. Again, please excuse my sniffing this morning. Luke chapter 14, beginning with verse number 25. And there went great multitudes with him, and he turned and said unto them, If any man come to me, and hate not his father, and mother, and wife, and children, and brethren, and sisters, yea, and his own life also, he cannot be my disciple. Wow, those are some rough words, right? Let's talk about discipleship, what it means to be a disciple. Titled this message is True Discipleship. That word disciple means learner. A disciple is a learner. The word disciple is derived from the Latin word discipio, which means a learner or someone who learns from a teacher, a person who learns from his or her leader, which means you can be a disciple of anyone. If you're learning from that person, you're a disciple of that person. You want Jesus to be your teacher. You want to learn from him. You want to be a disciple of Jesus Christ. You ought to be letting Jesus teach you. We've been discussing this in our Sunday school, and Sister Theresa Mitchell did a great job on Sunday school this morning. Hats off to you, Sister Mitchell. Job well done. But we've come to learn that a disciple is someone who has decided that following Jesus takes precedence over everything else. That's what a disciple is. A disciple is a person, a disciple of Jesus is a person who has decided that following Jesus takes precedence or takes priority over everything else. Now, let me say this. Discipleship costs. Now, salvation is free. Salvation is a free gift from Jesus Christ, but discipleship costs. And I don't know about you, but I'm so glad I'm paying the price for discipleship. I'm glad I gave my life to Jesus Christ. The fact is, if I had 1,000 lives, I'd give every one of them to Jesus Christ. It's just that much worth it. But the truth is, it costs. Question is, are you willing to pay the price? I want to read verse 25 and 26 again. And there went great multitudes with him, and he turned and said unto them, that if any man come to me, and hate not his father, see, there's a cost there, and his mother, and his wife, and his children, and his brothers, and his sisters, and his own life, he cannot be my disciple. And so we read here that Jesus had a lot of followers. He had a whole lot of people who were following him. Multitudes followed Jesus Christ. But watch what he does. Watch what he does. He thins out the crowd. Jesus doesn't sugarcoat his message. He doesn't water down his teaching with what we would call user-friendly evangelism. No. Jesus turns to them and with stern terms, he shocks them and says, if you're going to follow me, you got to hate your mother, father, sister, brother, children, wife. There's no fine print in the contract here. Jesus is not looking for easy followers. Jesus never did that. Jesus always kept it real. He wanted people to know there is a cost, but it's worth it. Let me say something to you before I give my 4 points here, because I want to stress the issue of there being a cost to discipleship. I want to stress that issue, that there's a cost, but it is so worth it. It's so worth it. If you're taking notes, I want you to write this down, because you're gonna need this one day. Write this down. The bitterness of poor quality lingers long after the sweetness of cheap price is forgotten. Let me say it again. I know that was a lot. The bitterness of poor quality lingers long after the sweetness of cheap price has been forgotten. Let me give it to you one more time. The bitterness of poor quality lingers long after the sweetness of cheap price has been forgotten. Let me tell you what I mean. When you find something on sale and it's real cheap, and then you get home and you realize it's good for nothing, then you start hating that you bought it. And you begin bitter. You begin to be bitter because you bought something that has poor quality. It's cheap. It doesn't work well. But you were thrilled at first because the price was so cheap. But the bitterness you now have because of the poor quality, that bitterness is going to linger longer than the sweetness of the cheap price. Are you following me? But if you pay a price for something, if you worked hard for something and you pay the price, and it's something that works well for you, it's something that you value, it's something that you treasure, you're going to soon forget about the price you paid for it, because you feel whatever price it was worth the cost. Pastor, what are you saying? I'm saying there's no cheap discipleship. It costs, but it's worth it. I ought to have some amens out there who can say, hey, it costs, but serving the Lord is really, really worth it. If you believe that, put amen in the chat. It's worth it. I want to give you 4 things that mark true discipleship. 4 things or 4 qualities that mark true discipleship. And they're all found right here in this text. Number 1, True disciples will worship at any cost. True disciples will worship at any cost. Here it is. If a man comes to me and hate not his father, somebody will put that in the chat. Number one, true disciples will worship at any cost. True disciples, point one, true disciples will worship at any cost. Here it is. If any man comes to me, hate not his father and mother and wife and children and brother and sister, and yea, even his own life, he cannot be my disciple. And whosoever does not bear his cross and come after me cannot be my disciple. Notice again, there is no fine print in the contract. No fine print. Jesus Christ has to come, first of all, before any personal relationships. Jesus Christ, if you're going to be a disciple, Jesus Christ has to come before any personal relationship. Notice he uses the word hate. And I know somebody's wondering, well, wow, that's a strong term. Thank you, Sister Jones. Will worship at any cost. Number one, true disciples will worship at any cost. You got to put Jesus before any personal relationships. Jesus uses the word hate here. The word hate. This is really a comparison word. He's not telling you to hate anybody, but he's saying if there's a difference between love and hate. This is when he was saying you can't serve two masters. You're going to love one and hate the other. He's not meaning hate as in abhorring somebody. He's saying hate. Thank you so much, Sister Hilliard. He's using the term hate as a comparison term. In other words, Jesus Christ must come before any other personal relationship. Thank you, Sister Reed. Any other personal relationship. God has to be number one, and everybody else has to be number two. He wants to be number one. A true disciple will worship at any cost. So you've got to put God before any personal relationship, and you've got to put God before your personal reputation. Look at what it says in verse number 26. And his own life. In other words, you're not even supposed to love you more than you love Jesus. If it comes between Minix and Jesus, I've got to say no to Minix and yes to Jesus. Because true disciples worship at any cost. Now here it comes, Sister Jones. Number two, you were a little ahead of me. You're looking at my notes over here. Not only do true disciples worship at any cost, but then secondly, true disciples work at any cost. True disciples work at any cost. Look at verse 28 through verse 30. It says, for which of you, intending to build a tower, sit not down first and count the cost, whether you have sufficient to finish it? Lest haply, after he had laid the foundation and is not able to finish it, all that behold it begin to mock him. True disciples, number two, work at any cost. A true disciple of Jesus Christ always finishes the work. True disciples don't start and stop. Not true disciples. True disciples always finish the work. They finish the task. All right? This text is teaching us that your life should be like a tower. When Jesus is talking about building a tower, there were a lot of vineyards back in those days, and they would build these large, tall towers in the middle of the vineyard so that the person in the top of the tower can keep watch so that thieves won't come and steal the grapes. All right? God has called you to build your life according to his plan. A true disciple will work at any cost, constantly working on your life. God has a plan for you, and God's plan for you should always supersede your plan for yourself. I remember as a kid, the first thing I ever wanted to grow up and be was a lawyer. Well, obviously, God had different plans. He wanted me to preach. And so I would have been a fool to try to build my life around anything else, because I would have failed miserably, or I would have made a lot of money, but God wouldn't have got the glory. And when God doesn't get the glory, you are failing miserably. Okay? Commit your life to working for Jesus and complete your work. Because if not, the text says, you'll have a half-built tower. And there's so many people who are walking around half-built. They started working for Jesus, and for some reason or another, they've fallen by the wayside. They're no longer working, no longer serving, no longer ministering, no longer tithing, no longer singing, no longer teaching, just living a half-built life. You don't want to be a half-built servant of Jesus Christ. You've got to finish the task. The Bible teaches that no man who puts his hand to the plow and turns back is fit for the kingdom of heaven. And so true disciples, number one, they worship at any cost. True disciples, number two, they work at any cost. But then the text teaches something else. True disciples wage war at any cost. Look at verse number 31 and 32. This is what it says. Or what king going to make war against another king sitteth not down first, and consulted whether he be able with 10,000 to meet him that cometh against him with 20? Or else, while the other is yet a great way off, he sendeth an ambassador, and desireth conditions of peace. And so, number one, true disciples worship at any cost. Number two, true disciples work at any cost. Number three, true disciples wage war at any cost. Listen, you've got to understand, brothers and sisters, we are in a war. When I follow Jesus, I'm following him into battle. There's a song that says, I'm on the battlefield for my Lord. You know how we sing that song? Are you really? Are you really willing to follow Jesus into the battle? Because in a battle, you are going to get some scars. In a battle, you're going to get criticized. In a battle, you're going to be ridiculed. In a battle, you're going to get shot at. Don't be so offended when folk take shots at you. You are in a battle. The enemy is going to shoot at you. A disciple cannot be a coward. Got to be brave enough to stand up for what is right. Got to be brave enough not to compromise, especially with the devil. You can't compromise with the devil. I read a short story once about a man who was out hunting, and while hunting, he got this bear in his sights. I mean, he had a bead on him. He had the bear in his sight, in his scope. And the bear looked up and said something to the man. The bear said, hold on, wait. Before you pull that trigger, let's talk this thing out. Let's reason together. This is what the bear is saying to the man. Don't pull the trigger. Let's talk it out. The bear says, why are you out here hunting? You're out here hunting because you want a big fur coat, right? The man says, yep, that's right. Then the bear says, why am I out here? I'm out here because I want a good meal. And so the bear says, let's talk this over. Let's compromise. Let's reason together and see if we can't come to a conclusion. And when it was all over, the bear had a good meal, and the man now had a big fur coat. Somebody will catch that when this message is over. What am I saying? I'm saying you can't compromise with evil. You can't compromise with the devil. You can't compromise with the world. Not if you're going to be a disciple of Jesus Christ. You cannot compromise with sin. You've got to be willing to fight the good fight of faith. It's a war out here, and disciples are up for the challenge. One more point. True disciples worship at any cost. True disciples work at any cost. True disciples wage war at any cost. But then the text finally teaches us, number 4, that true disciples witness at any cost. True disciples witness at any cost. Verse 34 and 35, here it is, and I'm done. 34 and 35, it says, salt is good, but if the salt has lost its savor, or its tastiness, or its zest, wherewith shall it be seasoned? It is neither fit for the land, nor yet for the dunghill, but men will cast it out. He that hath ears to hear, let him hear. Listen, we've got to be witnesses, brothers and sisters. The true disciple will be a witness at any cost. See, salt speaks of witness and testimony. What does salt do? Salt preserves. They didn't have refrigerators in those days. And so they used salt. They packed salt in. Salt preserves. And our world needs the preserving power of Jesus Christ. See, the problem in America is not the Senate. The problem is not the House. The problem is not who's in office. The problem in America is saltless saints. Saltless saints. Saints whom Jesus Christ has done so much for. But we keep it all to ourselves. No, we're to go out into the world and season this world with the good news of the Word of God. You don't want to be a saltless saint. I hope you've enjoyed this little word today. Listen, I enjoyed preparing for it. It's been wonderful. If you missed part of it, please go back to the beginning and listen to it. It's also on YouTube. Thank you so very much. Let me just share a few announcements with you. It's game day. It's game day for all the football fans. It is game day. As a matter of fact, on Super Bowl Sunday, I need everybody to wear your jerseys, whether we're together or whether we're online. We'll take pictures of our jerseys, of our favorite teams and everything. And, you know, we always have a whole lot of fun with that. But we are down to the final 4 teams. The Chiefs and the Bengals, 49ers, and the Rams. This is always such a fun time of the year. And as you know, my team is out of it. Hey, we'll be at home watching the other teams, and so I don't have a dog in this fight. All I can say is may the best team win. If you're a Chiefs fan, kudos to you. If you're a Bengals fan, kudos to you. If you're a 49ers fan, kudos to you. If you're a Rams fan, kudos to you. May the best team win. I see Marsha Kemp saying KC. All right, you pulling for Kansas City? I don't know who I'm going to pull for. I'm going to wait until these championship games are over today, and then I'll decide who I'm going to root for since my team is at home on the couch with me. All right, so hope you enjoy the games on today. Travis Donald, we know you're a Niners fan. He's Niners to the heart. All right, congrats to the Niners. Congrats to KC. For York Chiefs, all right, we got 2 pulling for the Chiefs. We got 1 for the Niners so far. Andrew Davis saying KC. All right, we got a lot of KC fans. All right, Angela Hampton, 49ers. All right, we got 2 49ers fans. All right, no Rams fans out there? No Bengals fans out there? All right, well, I'm probably going to pull for whoever the underdog is on the on game day, on Super Bowl Sunday. Sister Betty Martin, the Bengals. Calvin Laser, Cowboys. The Cowboys are not in it, unfortunately, Calvin. Hey, but you got to root for somebody. And so may the best team win. This is always a fun time of the year. Listen, I want us to, I'm asking prayers for my family. I had a very, very dear uncle to pass away on Thursday. Uncle Darvin Bowman. Funeral services are going to take place on February the 9th. And so please, please, please be in prayer for my family members who are out there watching, listen, I'm praying for you. You know I love you. We'll be right there with you. Please be in prayer for the Bowman family, my aunt and my 3 cousins. I love you, and this one hits kind of different, and so thank you all for keeping my family in your prayers. All right, we're in prayer for Sister Conta West, who funeralized her brother this past weekend in Chicago. We're praying for you. Shamanica, we're praying for you. Wavon, brother and sister West, we're praying for you. Sister Gatewood lost a grandson. Her grandson wife. All right, her grandson lost his wife, and so we're in prayer for your family as well. Brother Whitehead lost his aunt. Those services are going to be next Saturday. Brother Whitehead lost his aunt. Okay, it says aunt here. I really believe it's his cousin. They've got aunt in my notes, but it's his cousin. Let's be in prayer for him. Sister Zaisha Herdman, we're praying for you. She lost her grandfather. We don't have any information on that just yet. Sister Stacy Nichols just funeralized her mother on this past week, and so we're praying for everybody who is going through. Hopefully and prayerfully you are participating in the fast. Listen, this fast it's been good for me. It really has, and I really hope you are following the fasting schedule. Thank you so much. We've got information on the church website. We've got information on the church Facebook. You can follow along the fast. We've been doing a very good job about keeping you up to date with what's going on as it relates to our fast. All right, Sister Herdman. All right, yeah, Sister Zaisha. Bless you, dear. Bless you, dear. Bless you. It's been wonderful. Thank you for spending time with me this morning. Wednesday night, 6:30. Wednesday night, 6:30. We will be on Facebook Live again, and we'll be teaching more about discipleship. Listen, y'all enjoy the games together. Have a lot of fun. Those who have watched from far and near, we love you. God bless you. I love you. Peace.